Do you guys say Louisville?
We say Louisville.
Not Louisville? Louisville? It sounds cool. You know, it's always nice to get young people out and just to think about things, and it looks like a beautiful setting. So I'm interested in that. And yeah, I just think it's interesting just to get, in any sense, you know, even if it's not even for any cause, just to get a lot of young people out in one area and to just communicate in person. It's a rarity these days. I've just always done the music, like even, and you know, it's always just been my hobby. So it's been my main hobby that I do. So even, you know, in school, so many people are in school and do a band and are doing music. In high school, you're in a band. So I've always just been making music, and you know, I just got really lucky. I wasn't ever trying to make it to be a career or anything like that. I just had a hard time I just quit my job like a month ago, so I had a hard time coming to grips with the fact I could do that, you know, and actually make money doing this, and it's a legitimate career. So I don't know, I'm ready for it to tank though. I'm be back at the cubicle in like a year or so.
I don't know if you'll get that lucky.
I don't know, I think it's scary whenever any professional musician, because no matter how sincere they are about what they're doing, you know that they're making money off of it, and you know that that has to factor into what they're doing, which just like makes a lot of it bullshit. So it's like, if you're gonna make some really progressive things and do what you want, like there should be no like money in your mind, which is hard to do when it's your career. So I'd say on the activist front, I'm more in tune with, you know, the only thing I'm doing is, you know, pushing copyright laws a bit, and I don't know if that's activism or not, but definitely pushing people to think about, you know, our kind of dated copyright laws in new ways.
And how do you want those to change?
There's just like, to release, like every piece of music and art that is put out right now is so derivative on something else, everything. Like there's not original ideas that exist, and you know, to sample a piece of music and to put it out, it's so impossible to do it without paying someone so much money for it. And you know, in the case of, if you want to make an album out of 300 samples, to like pay the artist the average amount, which is like 9.1 cents per sample per track per unit sold, it's normally, you know, just to pay the artist for a 300 sample album, you would have to sell the CDs for like $50 or so just to pay them, and that doesn't factor in the cost of putting it together. So clearly, you know, the kind of the way the laws are written up, that like prevents a particular form of music from being made. So I don't know, I think there could be gray area. There's this thing called fair use, so you can sample without asking for permission if it falls under certain criteria, but it's so specific, and it's either fair use or it's not. So it's either you can do it and not pay for it, or you have to pay whatever they say. It'd be nice if there was like a gray area where it was like, if your piece of music is deemed transformative, then there's only a roof of money that you would pay collectively to artists. Because I mean, I'd even be open to paying royalties, but the way it is now, there's no point even thinking about it. I have to kind of put my stuff out, you know, technically on this potentially illegal style. I've been lucky enough where I think my last album was just, I think it was a good case of a perfect example of where there's so many samples that it's like, if someone really wanted to get money out of this, how would just divvying up how much I owe each person would be like a logistical nightmare. So I think it was like a really good example of something that people don't even want to get involved with that. And I think people don't want it to be taken to court, because it could even, you know, push things out a bit more. And I also think a lot of labels kind of view that as the piece of music as like a helpful thing, something that's you know, more promotional rather than hurting the artist in any way. So I think it's just, you know, I just think like right now we're at the, you know, just with everything, like just with media being so interactive, we're like approaching a point where every single song that's released will be remixed by someone, and software's going to get like more like games, to the point where every like 10-year-old kid's going to be remixing an Eminem song that comes out, and that's going to be helpful for Eminem, you know. So I think it's going to be, and I think we're going to have to like look at the laws in new ways really soon, just in terms of how to adapt to kind of like this remix culture.